Morning hurricane tip, or should I say storm watch tip, about hurricanes is coming to your compliments, Nagico Insurance.
In season, make sure your home is adequately insured. Remember to update your insurer of any additions or improvements you have made to your property within the last 3 years. Check your list of insured contents to verify that all your valuables are included. Check with your appraiser to confirm the rebuild value of your home and communicate it to your insurance company. It's hurricane season. Be prepared. Nagico Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
And let me take this opportunity to invite you to go and get yourself some insurance from Nagico if you don't have any insurance. Remember, this storm watch tip, or hurricane tip as I can put it, came to your compliments, Nagico Insurance.
We are in the peak of the hurricane season and amid a pandemic. Nagico Insurances reminds you to remain vigilant and stay prepared. Review your family disaster plan to make sure it includes COVID-19 safety protocols and that your insurance coverage on your home, contents, and or business is up to date. Contact a Nagico representative today to make sure you are properly insured. Nagico Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
The Hero Caribbean Premier League is back. And this year, all games are in St. Kitts and Nevis.
That is amazing.
The world's best cricketers are in town and ready to put on a show.
Oh, you little ripper!
Warner Park will be open to fully vaccinated fans between August 26th and September 15th. Visit the box office or go to cplt20.com now to get your tickets. Experience the biggest party in sport and see cricket played louder.
It's a Prime summertime with Digicel. We know you love Prime apps and content, so activate prepaid or postpaid Prime bundles or pay your Prime postpaid bill in full. Maybe Primetime TV and internet content are more your thing. Perfect! Sign up for the fastest internet speeds and best TV offers in Nevis. Here's your chance to be a Primetime winner. Win prizes every 2 weeks. Free phones, Echo Dots, MiFis, and of course, cash is up for grabs. You could be the crack prize winner of $1,000 cash, plus pick your best Prime buddy to win $500 cash as well. It's time to get Prime. Prime for summertime with Digicel. Digicel is better together. Terms and conditions apply.
More and more cable customers are getting their cable internet package upgraded for free.
I paid 3 months and I got upgraded from Flash to Bolt. So now I'm actually paying less for more.
Yes, up to double speeds and savings of up to $200 per month just for using your card to pay your bill.
I had this Bolt package, then I got this Platinum card and I paid my bill with that. They have upgraded me to Strike, which is almost double the speed now.
All it takes is a little loyalty. Use your Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard to pay 3 consecutive cable bills.
I was upgraded from Flash to the Bolt after paying my bill on time for 3 consecutive months, and I'm now enjoying the free upgrade.
To keep the upgrade, just continue using your Platinum Loyalty Card to pay your cable bills. Pay your bill in-store or online at www.thecable.net. Sign up for the Cable Platinum Loyalty Card today and get more. Terms and conditions apply.
Hassle-free loans for your every need. Cards have you covered, best believe.
Are the kids headed back to school and you need money now? Call Quartz Ready Cash and get money in your bank account in as little as 24 hours with our back to school promotion. There's absolutely no deposit required. All you need is a government ID, a utility bill, your pay slip, and a job letter. It's that easy and hassle-free. Plus, if you apply today, you can take advantage of our reduced interest rates and pay nothing for 60 days. Call us today at 466-1640 or visit us online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com and let us help you get the funds you need for back to school. Conditions apply.
We got it all, we on the go. Quartz Ready Cash, you already know.
Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are.
Oh, yo, 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 yo.
Good morning, and welcome back to our program. It's now time for Policing with You, and this morning program will be coming to you compliments National Bank. We'll be back right after this.
Tell me what you think about Marcus. Tell me what you think about Christ.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Or in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Okay, welcome back. You can't see my smile. You're not smiling now, though. Good morning, welcome to our program. You'll find out in a bit why I am smiling like the way I am. Good morning, Inspector Alric. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, GQ. Good
Nice
morning
one.
to you, and good morning to those of you listening or viewing this program by whatever social media platform. I am Alric Edwards, Inspector of Police and the host for today's program, Policing with You. Joining me this morning are the Director of Forensic Services Department, Latoya Lake Marshall, who is a forensic crime scene expert, and her junior Corporal Damien Challenger, who is the ballistic tool mark examiner and our very own firearms expert. They will share information about the important role and function of the Forensic Services Department. Question to you, persons here, my guests. What is meant by forensic and forensic science?
Okay, well, good morning to the Federation. It is so good to be back. It's been a while, but trust me, in the meat of the program, you will see why it's been a while. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the higher-ranking officials of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, my department, the Forensic Department, I'd like to thank the management of ZIZ for having us here. It's always a thrill to be here to speak about our duties, and I'm honored to have my right hand here with me, one of my SBOs, Mr. Challenger. You will soon see the work that we've done over the past. Now, basically, forensics, also known as criminalistics, it's actually the biological, and I'm going to do it as a layman term for you. It is the biological or scientific study of criminal investigation. So where you'll have a detective who would have to go out and seek witnesses, etc., we're the ones now who would back this up biologically and scientifically by collecting exhibits, processing scenes, and using scientific techniques to solve cases. So that's forensics basically in a nutshell. And forensics is split into different specialties, which we will go into a little later.
Thank you, Mrs. Lake Marshall. What is the various units included in this department?
You want to take this one?
Good morning. I'm Corporal Challenger, Firearms and Toolmark Examiner. Within the forensic unit, we have a number of small units that are responsible for specific tasks. We have the lab staff, we have the fingerprint staff, and we have the firearm and toolmark section. Along with that, we have the guys who are out in the field every day. These are the crime scene technicians. So these guys do the capturing, bring it inside, and then we do the processing.
And additionally, we have Bastille CSI, Nevis CSI, and we also have the Tabernacle Lab.
So Tabernacle sources District B, Bastille deals with District A, and Nevis.
Well, Tabernacle sources everywhere, basically. So We're there to function from everywhere, but what we do is that we make sure that our lab technicians are versed, that they can also balance the strain and respond indistrictly. So you're correct in one way.
And crime scene examiners are very important. And can you explain to us why they are so important? For the very reason that the prosecutor and other person may not be there, but you must paint a story. You must show that even though they're in there, you must be able to visualize what the scene was like, even though they wasn't there. So, and that's the role of the examining officer, really put the crime scene officer to bring that information to the court so that persons are. I wanted to say that before we move on to the last.
Well, basically, the pressure is on us because the courts rely on us, the investigators rely on us. Let's just make it clear that it's not all the time we can help in certain areas because there's some scenes that we would process that's just not forensically inclined.
Oh, wow.
But we do, yes, but we do advise accordingly as to another approach. We are very important because one, when an investigator responds to a scene originally, he would assess, and then we're the ones who are going to salvage, collect, and store that evidence, process for them to get positive results. So it's very, very important that one, investigators share information. Two, we also interview victims because we have to know how to penetrate. Then the onus is on us now to apply the proper technique. Because if you do not apply the proper technique, one. Two, if we do not store properly. Three, if we do not collect in order for Mr. Challenger to be able to process and to analyze, we would have a serious issue. Now, the court actually relies on us a lot for results, in a sense, because science is actually telling you the mechanisms of why this happened, how it happened. So right now the courts are not relying on circumstantial evidence alone.
Okay.
You have to have the scientific approach to back up certain cases and certain criminal
And if they
elements.
coincide, then you have a real good case.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to let Mr. Challenger explain a part, but I just want to state again that no one person has the same DNA. No one firearm has the same characteristic. So this is how our analysis is extremely important. And once we have to ensure that our technicians assess scenes properly. So hence the reason why I said we are under so much pressure, because we have no one technician works the same. And it is our duty to ensure that once these technicians respond, we have to see to it that we review these cases, make sure that everything that was collected, and to ensure that the proper analysis is applied. So, Mr. Challenger, I'm going to let you put your input on that.
In addition to what Director Marshall said, to put it in a nutshell, basically the role of the crime scene technician along with the court is to paint the picture where you match the witness to the suspect to the scene and to the witness. So basically you're doing a process of elimination while matching at the same time. So if it all comes together, then we know, okay, we need to look in this particular way. If not, the theory doesn't work, so then we start to look for another theory as to how, when, why.
And that's when the investigation comes in.
Yes, along with the examinations as well, because, for example, in my realm, firearms, you got several 40 calibers, several 9mm, right? And somebody might just well have a suspect. The suspect might just well have a 9mm, but the markings are off. So we know we got to look for a next 9mm, right? It could be the same shooter, but a different gun. So this is where we do the matching and the bringing in together. This is important for the court and both ways, because sometimes you get information as to accuse. When you check, it's not that person. So our job is not solely to arrest people and bring them before the court and prove that they're guilty. We also prove that people are innocent as well.
Exactly.
That's really true.
Right on the money.
Yeah. That's really true. We spoke about the number of units in the department. So can you kind of summarize the capabilities of the different units in the department?
Okay, well, right now, our department, we're looking at expanding into specialties. As you know, I'm a very passionate director. I'm hands-on. I don't send my team out unless I am there with them. Most times, Mr. Challenger and I, we have to be there to support the masses. But at the same time, it is our aim. We've been pushing them really hard because we're going to go into specialties now. Right now, which is on hand at the lab, we have the fingerprint examination section. That includes our AFIS machinery. Our lab is equipped with high-tech, state-of-the-art equipment. Some of them, well, all of them combined valued in excess of over US $1 million.
Wow.
We have the DCS-5, we have the VSC-80. These are high-tech equipment where we extract fingerprints at the lab, channel them up, computerized through the system into the AFIS, and it goes into a database. Now, we're also linked. We're trying to do some links now throughout the region and the international spectrum, where we have to do some upgrading and so on. But in the meantime, our expert fingerprint examiner, which is Mr. Donrad, he, along with other technicians, they are now being trained to work along. So we have those who would do entries into the system. Mr. Donrad will do analysis for us. Apart from that, we do extractions at the lab. As I told you before, we do not do DNA testing at the lab at this point. We are pushing to get diagnostic trace evidence done at our lab because it is our aim and my aim that St. is going to lead within the region. So we want to be able to give certain specialties. So for now, we're doing fingerprint. Then we have our good expert, Mr. Challenger, with over 20 odd years of experience. One of the main experts in Barbados who I've worked very close with, he is now retiring. And Mr. Challenger now, I am going to push him to the forefront because St. Kitts now, we want to utilize our lab in order to bring resources for our government to help other regions and other territories. So now we are training technicians in more than one specialty. So there are going to be some who are going to be trained with Mr. Challenger, who would assist him with doing serial number restoration, all these things within the lab. Also, we have our on-hand technicians. They are at different levels. So level 1 is just a basic technician, and level 1, they would respond with a seasoned technician. Then we have level 2, which is in intermediate, whereas you can respond to scenes on your own. And then we have level 3, which is the higher tech, and most of our technicians now are level 3.
Wow.
So they are on pressure from us because we're gearing towards a lot. So you have the regular responding technicians, we have our lab technicians who also can respond to scenes for now, and we have them working mechanically in the lab zone. So if you notice, we're multi-skilled and multitasked, and we're pushing to bring that to a higher level. Okay, Mr. Challenger, anything you want to add?
Well, just to add, most of the staff, they, even though they might be in a particular area of the department, there are multiple skills set that they have. We got people doing e-trace, we got people doing double casting. Double casting basically is, there's a database, a regional database. It's housed in Barbados, one is in Jamaica as well. And what we do is make copies of the shell casings and bullets, and we send them to that database. As we speak, Ms. Lake and I, along with ACP Mr. Mitchell and a few others, we are part of a regional team headed by the United Nations. And I might as well say it now. St. Kitts is the model. We are leading. We are instructing them. Right?
Wow.
So, coming back to the technicians, they got a variety of different skills that tomorrow we could switch them. Right? And we try not to make them get comfortable. We try to keep them on the heels, make sure that they understand that it's people's life, right? And that the court, it could initially start here in our court system and end up in America. It could end up in St. Martin or something. So once you got that skill set and it's not tarnished, you're liable to go anywhere. So we try to instill that in them.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Late Marshall and Corporal Challenger. How is the crime scene processed? How is that a crime scene processed? And how many crime scene you would have processed for the year?
It's like a loaded answer there, boy.
Well, we're not going to give you all of our techniques because we have to stay on top of the game. But basically, we would respond. Facts is very important. So what we receive as a briefing prior, we usually know how to penetrate thereon in. In the case of a major crime scene, let's say for instance maybe a shooting, because I have Mr. Challenger here with me, could be a murder, we do a briefing first before we respond. They will call, if I'm at home, they will call, and by the second we're there. We do our response, we assess, we move in. Now you're going to see some changes. God forbid that we have any major scenes, you're going to see some changes because we have upgraded our equipment. We have had certain donations. We have professional lighting sources. We have professional tents that will now cover the bodies to save from certain elements, rain, etc. You will see like a workstation, a sterile workstation for the technicians while on scene. So we are appealing to the public that once something happens and we ask you to evacuate, please understand that we are here to assist with solving your case. Basically, approaching the scene, you assess. You have to be very observant, and I instill in my technicians, you must take notes. Documentation is key for us.
Very important.
Key for us. And also data which we collect is what we are able to put together now to come to you and tell you what the taxpayers' dollars are paying for us to solve your cases. So by our results, you would see the hard work, the dedication. It's not easy because every technician has their way. And sometimes you have to pull the strings. We have the pressure, okay? Because when things don't go right, we have to answer on top.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, you're going to see a lot of changes with us. We're bringing in a lot of high-tech equipment. We are always checking to see the changes in technology, how we can approach. So me telling you how we approach a scene at this point is going to just tell you the basics. But every single scene we change up accordingly. And that's what that is what makes you good at what you do. Okay. So basically, let's go into some figures, can we?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So from the last time I was here, let's look at the end of 2018. So the end of 2018, that's after with the transition, because as you know, the forensic director was, forensic crime scene was going through some changes with changing directors. So I took over whatever the last director did that was of value and asset to us. We have done that. Mr. Ramnarine, we have since upgraded our standard procedure document, and I merged all directors, which is Mr. Alexander Ramnarine and so on, and compiled it into one book. So that is what governs us. That's our Bible. Now, from 2018, Mr. Challenger and I had a rough time. That's when we had the pow-pows going on. That was like 23. We had about 23 major scenes. Most of them was via gun violence. And Mr. Challenger and I worked together many sleepless nights, and 21 of those was solved, and mostly via ballistics. So Mr. Challenger was working tirelessly, and out of 23, we solved 21. That was in 2018. Then in 2019, we had a submission. Now, when I say submission, this is the amount of cases that was sent away for testing or was done with us via the lab. So we had 20 submissions. Out of that 20 submission in 2019, 16 was solved via DNA and 4 unsolved. So that was basically like an 80% solvability rate. Then we had 2020. In 2020, we had 12 submissions, 4 was unsolved, 8 solved, and they were via DNA and ballistics. Then in 2021 is very active with us, especially with sexual offenses. Call me a nerd, but we sit down and we analyze our cases. So don't think that a report just comes in and we don't read and analyze our cases. Right. Hence the reason why in 2021 we had numerous links. So we were linking one accused to at least 6 or 7 scenes. Wow. And it was a mixture of scenes. So it wasn't just murder, it was rape, it was robbery, we linked one person to a murder and linked him to an assault about a year or so ago.
Before, yeah. Wow.
So we study our cases, we study the moduses. I do that a lot, and Mr. Challenger and I will sit and analyze. We study the moduses of persons who we come across and investigators tell us about. And that's how we link our stuff. So in 2021, we had 19 submissions. 3 was pending at the time when the commissioner would have spoken. And those 3 pending came back fully solved.
Okay.
And when I say solved, we're pinning them in 2 and 3 different regions.
Right.
We had 3 unsolved, and the detectives are still working on those. Mr. Challenger's worked really hard. Ballistic-wise, we have no problem recovering firearms. He has to test fire and do certain things. He'll explain his work with some of these here. And then we're going to go into what work we're now doing at the lab to better serve you even more.
Okay.
As Ms. Marshall spoke about studying crimes, how crimes are committed. So similar to the nature of the beast. Somebody operates a particular way. If you pay close attention, you start to see similarities in cases. So, what do? You take all the exhibits from those cases and you try to find something of importance that is only significant to that accused, suspect. Right? So we tend to do a lot, kind of like criminal profiling. Right. You have to do it. If you're into forensics and you're into crime scene, you have to do it. Right. Otherwise, our scene going to just seem like another scene.
That's what you're saying earlier about trusting the science.
Yes. Yes. To add to what Inspector Edwards would have asked about how do you penetrate a crime scene, right? Basically, we rely on the first responder. They would give us information, what they met, what they saw, who entered, who left, doctor came, whatever, right? And then we look for what we call a safe part. There's a part of evidence, there's a safe part. You can't walk in the part of evidence because you're bringing contamination to that.
Right.
That is why the police work so hard that, we feel for people when they have a son who is murdered and that kind of thing. But please be with us. Understand that as long as you go into the part of evidence, contamination comes in. Then you got to come up with a number of different theories of how things actually happen. That wastes time. That takes evidence from the scene. And so you leave us with very little to work with. A lot of evidence that is corrupted.
So let me see if I understand you clearly. You could have a scene where maybe a cousin concern came, and then while you're doing your analysis, you come across that DNA, and you're trying to figure out where that person is in this here.
Yes.
Should we have that person as a suspect too? And then you're going to do your investigation and realize, okay, it's not a suspect, it's a cousin.
Yes.
And then that now push you back another week now to find more evidence before that cousin came on the scene.
Yes.
Okay.
As well as that cousin could have relatively remove evidence.
Yeah.
He could leave, but he could take away as well. Right? And bear in mind that these processes take a lot of money.
Right.
So that's wastage of money and that kind of thing. So
they could have gone with the phone, and the phone probably had a message that you could have now said, oh, look, he had got a warning, you know.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we could go and interview the person and find out how they know and what's.
Yes.
So it's really important. That's what you're saying. It's really important.
If I might add, basically penetrating, we think outside the box. We can't think just normally. We have to think outside the box. Sometimes we have to think like a criminal, in a sense, in order to know how to penetrate. So it's always thinking outside of the box. We don't go for the obvious.
Okay.
So that is what makes us good at what we do.
So you're playing chess now?
Yeah,
yes.
backwards.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Backwards from... GQ, let us...
Well, with your permission, I would say before taking the break, because we'll have to wrap up in a few minutes to bring live coverage of the CPO game that's happening this morning. So you can continue with your train of questions.
Cool. How does the evidence that is collected at a crime scene assist the police in solving crimes, and what is the solvability rate like?
Well, we just touched that. So what I will do, can I just speak of the specialties?
Sure,
what's going on right now at the lab is that we're now upgrading. Anyone who's around Tabernacle would see that there's some work going on there. We had a little glitch, but I'm pushing forward again. We are now constructing a firing range for Mr. Challenger where we would do our test fires on base. We so ably received a donation of a bullet catcher from the RSS. They're like our parents. We get so much from them. We try to do that to ease our government in some way, because forensics is not cheap. No. So we try our best to look source from our outside sources. We are also doing an extended section for exhibits, because our exhibit officer, he's experiencing some problems where we're now pressed for space. So we're trying to do an extended facility where we can store and have our swabs stored in a refrigerated walk-in area and so on. So we're doing that work, and we are now going through a series of evaluation and assessment training for our technicians. We're doing spot checks. We'll go to a scene, and they don't know. We will go back and visit Mr. Challenger and I. And we will ask the victims, what was this? How you think the technician dealt with this? We will show up on scene in-house and check all logs to make sure that entries are being made. There are also specialties that we're looking at. Forensic anthropology. So that is the study of bones. Once we discover bones, we want to have our technicians trained for that. Trace evidence testing, ballistics, of course, touch DNA. And we also have an arson team, of which I work closely with. We have a fire officer. He is an explosive expert and so on. That is Mr. Keynes and Mr. Duncan, our very own. We respond a lot to fires. Just want to touch really quickly on Nevis CSI, because we cannot forget Nevis. A lot of times we tend to neglect Nevis, and we operate the same way. We try to furnish Nevis the same way that we operate in Bastille.
Like a duplication?
Yes. My SBO, Mr. Weeks, he is working over at Nevis, or he is the representative for crime scene over there, along with technicians. And the technicians in Nevis, they are also working at the lab, so they have to commute back and forth. So you see how our work is.
Hence what you were saying earlier.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's the specialties we're going into. We also have a drug analyst on hand in Mr. Williams, and we are now pushing him over into doing accelerant testing for us.
Okay.
So we are working tirelessly at this point.
Thank you, Mrs. Lakeman. Can you tell the public that they can call in still?
Sure. If you want to take some call, we can.
Sure, we can two, and then we continue.
Of course. 465-2555. The lines are now open. At 718-577-2916. In the meantime, you can continue.
Right. We spoke about the assistance they give to other territories. Can you tell us something more about that, please?
Okay, well, as Mr. Challenger mentioned about our relationship with the UN is very impressed with the work in St. Kitts. I could say that we're like second right now, leading, pertaining to the National Action Plan. Well, we're first in the National Action Plan for movement of illicit firearms. The RSS, the Regional Security Service, we just received even a donation as close as yesterday.
Wow.
And we have such a close relationship with the RSS. They see our work, and they're always willing to assist us.
Can I ask you to put on your headphones? We got our first call. Hold on a second there to the caller that's there. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
To you, GQ, and your personnel there, Challenger and Mr. Marshall. Right. My question is, what is the dress code for your officers entering a scene as not to contaminate the scene? And also, if you get to a scene that is already contaminated, how do you deal with that scene? Thank you.
All right, thank you for your question.
You want to take one? Okay. You can take the second one, and I'll take. Okay. Well, the dress code, basically, it all depends on the type of scene that we have. Now, remember, we have resources, and PPEs are not necessarily cheap. So I have always advised my technicians, where you don't have to fully suit in PPEs, we wear shoe covers, gloves, mask. Certain scenes where you know you're going to have a lot of seminal fluids, like blood or things that, you know, we could get contaminated accordingly, we would wear full PPEs and so on. Autopsies, definitely full PPEs. Now that we have COVID here, certain scenes that we are uncertain of, we would done in full PPE gear. Okay, so PPE includes not just the rabbit suit, which some persons call a rabbit suit, but gloves, masks, and shoe covers. It's a must.
Okay.
Okay, in relation to scenes and contamination, what we would still do is collect all the evidence and then do a process of elimination. In reference to like a house breaking, we do elimination fingerprints, right? If there's DNA, we do DNA elimination. So we know, okay, it's GQ house, GQ must have some DNA there. So we do an elimination, we say, okay, GQ out the picture, we now got to find who this DNA belongs to.
Right.
So that's how we deal with it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any more call?
That's at the moment. Go ahead.
Well, you spoke about
Well, can I interrupt you? We do have a call.
Sure.
Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, DQ.
Morning.
Good morning, Alric. And good morning, Mrs. Marshall.
Morning.
And the young gentleman next to you.
Good morning,
Very, very timing, GQ.
Yes.
I think Miss Marshall should be coming to the public very often to update us and the forensic lab and other cases that she's cracking. We never had cases cracking like that before. Miss Marshall, one question. I want you to talk some more concerning these rape cases where you recently cracking, because the public are aware and they're talking very, very good about you. We don't know who's trying to keep you away from us, but the information is on the street. People admire what you're doing for the country because you bring something new to the investigating department. Have a good day, because I was the man who used to bash the man down Church Street to give you that piece of equipment, that vital piece of equipment to do your analysis. And youngster to Miss Marshall, this thing is a science, eh? So when you come to the media, you must always educate the public that is a science. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jamdong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Jamdong. I heard about the sentiments that you expressed, and I'm very touched, especially with the presence of St. Kitts, who is happy with the work that we're putting in. Let's just make it clear, no one is stopping me from actually coming to you, but it just so happens that with all that's happening, COVID and CPL, amongst other things, they have to take precedence at first. I think the Commissioner, the Crime Directorate, they really want us to come out and penetrate and say what our work is. So there's no one stopping us. It's just the turn of events. Okay, now pertaining to rape, that has been a very touchy, sexual offenses is an area where I was fully trained in also while operating in Antigua. That was my sole responsibility as an expert. So I have a passion for women. I have a passion for men too, because there are cases where I have worked. Some people find it funny where men have actually been sexually molested, and I had to do the same. It's hard to prove, but we had to. Now, with these spate of cases, it stuck out like a sore thumb to us, and hence the reason why I spoke about the modus is I started analyzing many sleepless nights thinking about how this person operates. And then that's when we started putting things together and going back to all the various reports that we had over a period of time, and we started testing versus our databases, and things started showing up as a constant. And what happens, criminals are very tricky. They might do a rape today and then they do a robbery tomorrow. They might do a rape today and they do a house break-in tomorrow. So we have to think along those lines, and hence the reason why some of the assailants the assailant that we attached was not only pinned for sexual offenses, they were also pinned for other offenses. So you have to have passion. The theme for our department is detection with a passion.
Okay.
And that is what we do.
Okay.
So thank you, Jamdong, and thank you to everyone in St. Kitts for your support.
Thank you, Mrs. Late Marshall. Jamdong would have spoke. Well, the question Jamdong posed to you was my final question.
Yes.
Because the fear of crime is we try to eliminate the fear of crime in society, and so hence the question that Jamdong would have posed to you. But you for Challenger, anything in closing? We need the boss for last, you know?
In closing, I would say thanks for all the support from the general public and the officers at CID, violent crime, even beat and patrol, because this thing is like an assembly line. We all need to do our part to get a good finished product.
True.
Right? So I would want to say thanks for all the support, and GQ, thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Is it National in closing?
Yes, I would also like to thank my team. This would not be possible without them. We have our days, we fight, we battle, but when it comes to us getting on to business, we got to. I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank the detectives from CID. I'd like to thank my superiors for always pushing me. Thanks to the Crime Directorate, Superintendent Francis, ACP Mitchell for coming down on me when they know I can do better. I want to thank you so much for your support. We will continue to work, and thank you to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. You're who we serve.
Yes, ma'am.
And without your support, we would be nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
To the victims, you have our support, and to the accused also. Use this as a learning experience to change your lives. So thank you, and thank you to my family.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is great, Marshall.
You're welcome.
GQ.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank you for being the reliable moderator you have always been week after week. I want to thank my two guests this morning for coming here and sharing with the general public the services that you render to us week, day after day, year after year, month after month. I want to thank the management and staff of ZIZ for having us here week after week, and for tolerating us, GQ.
No, don't say tolerate. Don't say tolerate. Tolerate is a bad thing.
Okay.
Enjoy your company.
For enjoying our company here.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank the callers for calling in this morning, and I want to encourage those who would have thinking about calling in to so do. You know, without their calling and without your contribution, we surely these are pointless. I want to thank everybody again, and see you guys next week, Thursday.
And we go straight to our ball-by-ball, play-by-play action. I don't think any ball has boulders yet, though. But this morning coverage will be coming to your compliments. Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, your partner in achieving your dreams. Skillick, your power company. Gem Radio 5, National Bank always here. Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union. That's Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union. Thanks for being here. And here are the guys at Warner Park.
The pitch will dry somewhat. Initially, it will offer something to the faster bowlers with the new ball, but then it might, help the batsmen for about 5 overs, and then it's going to get drier, and the spinners could come into play.
Yeah, well.